Hello, I'm John Eckstein. Some people call me Jack. I'm in the corporate department at Fairfield and Woods, a 90-year-old law firm here in Denver. And today we're talking about the sell side of the mergers and acquisitions practice with John Leonard. The topic of this little video is the purchase agreement itself. So John, is there anything you'd like to mention before we get into it?
Oh, thanks for arranging this, and let's jump right in, John.
Thanks, John. So what do you put in a purchase agreement to sell your business?
Yeah, well, hopefully you've seen my earlier video on letters of intent that talks about some of the broad topics. We're going to talk about those some more, but this is where all the agreements on selling your business reside. And they are all more or less follow the same type of structure. They're long, and we'll talk about why they're long in a second. But they start out obviously with identifying the parties and sometimes a long section of definitions. Then it gets into the purchase price, and it talks about what specifically is being purchased. Is it your assets? That's about 80% of the sales that I see is an asset sale. Or is it stock? That's about 20%. People usually prefer, or buyers usually prefer to buy stock when the business that they are buying is based upon other contracts selling services. So if you're a software company that you're delivering software on a SaaS basis and you have monthly recurring revenue, I can almost predict that your buyer is going to want to do a stock sale so that we don't have to assign the dozens and dozens of contracts that fuel your business. Those are the types of business that are typically a stock sale. Most other businesses are an asset sale. And the reason is when you buy stock, you buy all the liabilities that might be associated with that company. So if there's environmental issues, if there are sexual harassment claims, if there are any number of skeletons in the closet, you would want to have an asset purchase agreement and buy the assets of the business rather than purchase the stock. But even after those kinds of concerns, there's still 20% of the sales that I see that are stock sales agreement. After that, there are pages and pages of representations and warranties. You own your stock free and clear of liens. Here are my material contracts. Here are my financials for the last 5 years. Here are my tax returns for the last 3 to 5 years. And on and on and on. Different questions, very distinct questions about your business. And most of those representations and warranties have a schedule attached to it. So imagine a contract, and each one of these paragraphs, there's some sort of schedule. So you might say, we own free and clear all the assets shown in Exhibit A. And then there you go to Exhibit A and there's a list of assets. So these asset and stock sale purchase agreements become very, very lengthy. And then we negotiate the indemnities. If those representations and warranties are incorrect, what are the damages that accrue from that? We try and get those damages down to 10 to 20% of the purchase price. There may or may not be an escrow set up to cover the potential damages if those are incorrect. There are exceptions from that cap, that 20%, 10 to 20% cap for fraud or failure to pay taxes. We also negotiate a deductible so that a seller doesn't have to pick up the phone every time there's a problem, that there's an aggregate amount of problems, 25,000, 50,000, whatever, typically around 1% of the purchase price. That is the threshold before you have to pay any damages at all. Let's go to the next slide, John.
We're going to have to move this along here. There's a lot in those contracts. So what is due diligence and what's a deal room? Those terms will come up, I know.
Yeah, so even though you attach a lot of schedules to an agreement, you're going to have afford the buyer an opportunity to see all your documents. So you scan them and put them into a virtual deal room where people can come in, the buyers, advisors and the buyers, and look through all the contracts and all the other items that form the basis of your business. Due diligence is a polite term for them nosing around in your business and your records.
Okay, fair enough. So how do these purchase agreements, they all have indemnification provisions, you said. So
Yeah.
how do those provisions operate?
Yeah, I pretty much covered it, but basically there's going to be we hope there's a deductible, just like in an insurance company where nobody's paying anything until there's a deductible amount has been reached, typically 1%, and there's a cap. It's got to be no more. The cap can be as high as 100%. I see that occasionally, especially in smaller deals, but in a typical market deal, your cap on liability is going to be from 10 to 20% of the purchase price.
All right, then. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it.
All right, we did it.